Today we're gonna go over currently not collectible. A couple of weeks back, I made a video about the 5 major IRS collection options that you have at your disposal if you do all the IRS. So today we're gonna focus on one of those 5 options, which is currently not collectible, and go into more details on who might be eligible and how to apply and how that affects you. Hey there guys, welcome back to my video. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Lenka Joseph and I'm an enrolled agent admitted to practice in front of the IRS, here to assist you guys with your accounting needs and tax planning needs, and also helping you resolve your tax debt with the IRS. To get started, let's go over what currently not collectible is. Let's say that you owe a tax debt and you can't pay your tax debt while paying for your living expenses. Before I keep moving, the IRS do have a list of living expenses they deem essential. It's not necessarily what you think is essential to your life. So we'll go over that in more detail in a little bit. And if the IRS do agree with you as well that you can't pay your tax debt without that rendering you homeless or bankrupting you, then you may request for the IRS to put your account on currently not collectible status. So what does currently not collectible do? Currently not collectible, what it does is just that it temporarily delays the IRS from collecting until your financial condition improves. So the IRS also may ask you to file any past due tax returns before they are able to put your account on currently not collectible. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. One thing that I also need to clarify is that having your account on currently not collectible status does not mean that the tax debt completely goes away. It doesn't go away. It only means that the IRS has agreed that you can afford to pay as of now. So there are certain things that you need to do before the IRS approve your request to delay your tax debt. As I mentioned before, one of them might be that they might ask you to file any past due tax return. Another thing is that they will require that you complete a collection information statement and provide proof of financial status. The IRS may ask you to provide financial information to review your income and expenses and decide whether you can sell any assets or whether you can get a loan to pay off that debt. So they want to exhaust any other option before they go with the option of putting your account on currently not collectible status. So let's go over the pros and cons of currently not collectible. So the front end, the tax payment does sound great, especially if you've been struggling to make ends meet. Currently not collectible status can provide much needed breathing room. It can provide time that you can use to get back on your feet and figure out a way to pay off the IRS without the immediate threat of collection activity. Yes, you will not be subject of the usual collection efforts. The IRS won't garnish your wages, and they won't levy your income or your bank account, and they won't require that you set up an installment agreement. But you can still make voluntary payments whenever you can, which the IRS will definitely advise you to do so because that will be in the best, in your best interest, and because it will bring the debt down and lower lower the penalties and interest when you do so, when you do make a payment. Talking about that, let's go over the cons of currently not collectible. So the IRS will not come after you, right? Which is all great and dandy, but your debt will increase because late penalties and interest are charged until you pay off your debt, which is why they will advise that you make voluntary payments whenever you can. Not just because you make a payment doesn't mean they're gonna come after you and say, oh, you can make a payment, then I guess you can pay off the debt. That is not how it is necessarily work, but making the payment will help decrease the debt, which also help with late penalties and interest, because those are charged until you pay off the full amount of your debt by law. So, and again, the IRS will hold onto any tax refund that you might be entitled to in the futures, which they will apply to your outstanding balance due in process called a refund offset. So, I know a lot of the people I deal with, they're usually businesses, so you guys don't get a refund anyway. But if you are someone who's a W-2 employee, or who usually get a refund, if you go ahead and put your account on currently not collectible status, you might not get a refund until you pay off that debt, because the IRS will most likely get that refund and pay off the outstanding debt, which they call a refund offset. So during the delay, the IRS will keep reviewing your ability to pay, and also they may contact you to update your financial information to be sure that your ability to pay has not changed. You will also continue to receive an annual bill from the IRS as required under the law, and the IRS may also file a federal tax lien against your assets, which shows up on your credit report and put creditors on notice that you owe an outstanding balance to the IRS, which is not totally great for you, especially if you're trying to get back on your feet. You do not want a federal tax lien on your credit report. So I'll go over what a federal tax lien is in more detail on a separate video. When is currently not collectible good options? A professional like an enrolled agent like myself, or a CPA who actually practice in front of the IRS, or a tax attorney can help you evaluate whether you are a good candidate for currently not collectible status, as well as suggest other options for dealing with your outstanding tax debt. So what I do when I'm working with a client who wants to request a currently not collectible from the IRS is to first complete a financial analysis, just to make sure that they in fact can prove to the IRS that they cannot pay the tax debt at the moment without that rendering them homeless or bankrupting them. And as I mentioned before in my previous videos, is that the IRS is not in the business of bankrupting you. The second thing I do is calculate the monthly payments that they'll be required to make on an installment agreement, to see if in fact they have other options, because currently not collectible is really the last options, and the IRS really wants to see if there's anything you can do other than currently not collectible, and if you really absolutely cannot pay at all at the moment. And third, the last thing we do is that we calculate the likely statement amount if we were to ask for an offer and compromise instead. And then we review the eligibility for currently not collectible status. So I say that a lot, especially when it comes to your finance, is that every person's circumstances are unique, but currently not collectible status can usually help you postpone your debt with the IRS if you meet certain requirements. So how long does the currently not collectible status usually last? So the IRS will put a code on your account when they'll approve your account for currently not collectible status, and the code will tell the IRS when to pull up your file for review to see if your circumstances have changed. Now, based on the code, there's certain income level that will trigger follow-up from the IRS at a certain time. So the IRS may contact you to update your financial information, like I mentioned before, to be sure your ability to pay has not changed. And the IRS may collect the balance that you owe if your financial situation has improved when they conduct an annual review of your income. So as you can tell, you as a taxpayer have multiple options when it comes to pay off your tax debt. And owing the IRS is a scary thing because they at any moment they can come after you in full force just to collect the money. And a lot of the time it seems like that they almost don't care what happens to your life, but there are options, and knowing the options and talking to a professional would help avoid putting your life and your finances, putting your family in a situation that you didn't need to be. So you might want to request one of these options to help you with your tax debt. Like I mentioned before, I definitely recommend that you speak with a professional who specializes in dealing with the IRS to make sure that you find the best option to solve your problem. As sometimes you think one option is better for you when in fact you would benefit more from another option. Again, if you owe the IRS and you want to find the best option to lower and or eliminate your tax debt based on your situation, go ahead and schedule a free consultation call with me, and I'll be more than happy to be able to assist you and guide you to your financial freedom. So I hope this video helped, and I'll talk to you guys soon.